Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about a powerful skill, the art of negotiation. How to get what you want, every time. Now think about this. Every day you are negotiating, with people, at work, with friends, even with yourself. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But most people don't even realize why they lose. They think negotiation is about talking more or forcing the other person. But the truth is, negotiation is a skill, and once you understand it, you can change your results completely. So in this video, we will break it down step by step, in a simple way. So stay till the end, because this can improve your confidence, your communication, and even your income. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Understand the other person first. The first rule of negotiation is simple. Understand the other person, not yourself. Not your needs first, but the other person. Now let's go deeper. Most people make a big mistake. They focus only on what they want. They think, how do I win? How do I get more? How do I convince them? And because of this, they fail. Now imagine this. You go into a negotiation thinking only about yourself. What happens? The other person feels ignored. They feel pressured. They resist. Now imagine the opposite. You try to understand them. What do they want? What are they afraid of? What matters to them? What happens? Now you have power. Because negotiation is not about forcing. It is about understanding. Now think about this. Every person has a reason behind their decision. They have goals. They have fears. They have expectations. And if you understand these, you can guide the conversation. Now imagine this. Someone is saying no to you. Instead of arguing, you ask, why is this important to you? What are you looking for? What happens? They open up. Now you see their perspective. Now you can adjust your approach. Now here is the shift. When people feel understood, they become flexible. Now let's go even deeper. Listening is your biggest weapon, not speaking. Now imagine this. You talk too much. What happens? You miss information. Now imagine the opposite. You listen carefully. What happens? You learn everything you need. Now you can respond smartly. Now understand this. The person who listens more controls the negotiation. Now let's go deeper. You must listen beyond words, not just what they say, but how they say it. Their tone, their hesitation, their emotions. These things tell you the truth. Now imagine this. Someone says, I'm not sure. That doesn't mean no. It means they have doubt. Now if you understand this, you can remove that doubt. Now here is something powerful. People don't decide logically first. They decide emotionally. Then they justify logically. So if you understand their emotions, you can influence their decision. Now let's go deeper. You must make the other person feel valued. Now imagine this. You ignore their needs. What happens? They become defensive. Now imagine the opposite. You respect their position. You show interest. What happens? They trust you. Now negotiation becomes easier. Now understand this. Trust is the foundation of every negotiation. Without trust, there is no agreement. Now let's go deeper. You don't need to agree with them, but you need to understand them. Now imagine this. You say, I understand why this matters to you. What happens? They feel respected. Now the conversation becomes calm. Now here is the powerful truth. People cooperate with those who understand them. So, from today, don't rush to speak. Don't try to dominate. Don't focus only on winning. First, understand the other person. Listen deeply. Observe carefully. Because when you understand them, you gain control of the situation. Lesson 2. Control emotions. Control the outcome. The second rule of negotiation is simple. Control your emotions. Because the moment you lose emotional control, you lose power. Let's go deeper. Most negotiations fail not because of logic, but because of emotions. Anger, frustration, ego, fear. These emotions take control, and once that happens, your decisions become weak. Imagine this. Someone disagrees with you. They challenge your idea. They say something that feels disrespectful. What do most people do? They react immediately. They raise their voice. They defend aggressively. They try to prove themselves right. And in that moment, the negotiation turns into an argument. The focus is no longer on the result. It becomes about ego. And when ego enters, logic disappears. But imagine the opposite, the same situation. But you stay calm. You listen. You pause. You respond slowly. What happens? You stay in control. The conversation stays productive. And most importantly, you maintain your power. Here is the key idea. The calmer person always has the advantage. Because calmness shows confidence. It shows control. It shows strength. Let's go even deeper. Emotions are natural. You cannot remove them. But you can control how you respond. There is a big difference between feeling and reacting. You can feel anger, but still choose to speak calmly. You can feel pressure, but still think clearly. That is what makes you powerful. Think about this. If someone can control your emotions, they control you. So the goal is simple. Do not give that control to anyone. Another important point, silence is a powerful tool. When emotions rise, pause. Do not rush to answer. Give yourself a few seconds. This small gap can save the entire negotiation, because most mistakes happen in quick reactions. Slow responses create better decisions. Also understand this. Your tone matters more than your words. You can say the right thing in the wrong tone and still lose. But you can say a difficult thing in a calm tone and still win. People react to how you speak, not just what you say. Let's go deeper. Never negotiate when you are emotional. If you feel angry, take a break. If you feel stressed, step back. Because emotional decisions are temporary, but their consequences are long-term. Strong negotiators know when to pause. They don't rush. They don't react. They choose the right moment. Another powerful idea. Do not take things personally. In negotiation, people may disagree with your idea, but that does not mean they are attacking you. If you take everything personally, you lose clarity. Stay focused on the goal, not on your feelings. Also remember, confidence is quiet. You don't need to prove anything loudly. You don't need to dominate. Your calm presence is enough. That is real power. Let me give you a strong line to remember. The one who controls emotions controls the outcome. So from today, do not react instantly. Do not let anger lead you. Do not let ego take control. Stay calm, think clearly, respond with control. Because when you master your emotions, you don't just negotiate better, you win with intelligence. Lesson 3. Ask smart questions. The third rule of negotiation is ask smart questions. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful skills you can learn. Because the right question can change the entire direction of the conversation. Let's go deeper. Most people try to win by talking more. They explain. They argue. They try to convince. But strong negotiators do something different. They ask. Because questions give you control. Think about this. When you ask a question, the other person starts thinking. They start explaining. They reveal information. And that information is your advantage. Imagine this. You are negotiating, and instead of saying, "This is my final offer," you ask, "What is most important for you in this deal?" What happens? They open up. They tell you their priorities. And once you know their priorities, you can shape your offer. That is smart negotiation. Let's go even deeper. Questions help you understand hidden needs. Sometimes people don't say everything directly. They may hide their concerns. They may not express their real problem. But good questions bring those things out. For example, you can ask, "What is stopping you from saying yes? What would make this better for you? Is there anything you are unsure about?" These questions remove confusion. They bring clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. Another powerful point. Questions reduce resistance. When you tell someone what to do, they resist. But when you ask them, they feel involved. They feel respected. And when people feel involved, they cooperate more. That is the difference. Let's go deeper. There are two types of questions: weak questions and strong questions. Weak questions are simple and closed. They give short answers, like, "Do you agree? Is this okay?" These questions don't give you much information. Strong questions are open. They invite thinking. They create conversation, like, "How do you see this working? What would you change in this? What matters most to you here?" These questions are powerful because they make the other person think deeply. And when they think deeply, they reveal more. Also understand this. The goal of questions is not just answers. It is direction. Every question should guide the conversation. It should move you closer to agreement. That is why smart negotiators plan their questions. They don't ask randomly. They ask with purpose. Let's go deeper. Questions also give you time. Instead of reacting quickly, you ask. And while the other person is speaking, you think. This gives you space. This gives you control. Another powerful idea? Use questions to lead, not to attack. If your question feels aggressive, the other person will close up. But if your question feels respectful, they will open up. Tone matters. Intent matters. Simple words, but strong impact. Also remember, sometimes the best move is to stay silent after a question. Ask, and then wait. Do not rush to fill the silence. Silence creates pressure, and many times, people reveal more than they planned. That is where real negotiation happens. Let me give you a powerful line to remember. The person who asks better questions gets better results. So, from today, don't try to win by talking more. Don't rush to explain everything. Don't push your point again and again. Ask, Listen, understand, guide the conversation. Because when you ask smart questions, you don't just communicate better, you negotiate smarter. Lesson 4. Create win-win situations. The fourth rule of negotiation is create a win-win situation. This is where most people misunderstand negotiation. They think, if I win, the other person must lose. But that mindset is wrong, because the best negotiations are not about winning against someone. They are about winning with someone. Let's go deeper. If the other person feels they lost, they will resist. They may agree for the moment, but they will not stay committed. And in the long term, that deal will break. But when both sides feel they gain something, the agreement becomes strong. It becomes long-lasting. That is the real power of negotiation. Imagine this. You push hard. You take everything in your favor. What happens? The other person feels unhappy. They feel forced. And deep inside, they want to cancel or change the deal. Now imagine the opposite. You create a solution that works for both sides. What happens? They feel satisfied, they feel respected, and they stay committed. That is a win-win. Let's go even deeper. A win-win situation starts with understanding value. Different people value different things. For you, price may be important. For the other person, time may be important, or trust, or flexibility. If you understand what they value, you can give them what matters, without losing what matters to you. That is smart negotiation. Think about this. You don't always need to give more. You just need to give what matters to them. That changes everything. Another important idea. Flexibility creates opportunity. If you stay rigid, you block solutions. But if you stay flexible, you find options. Instead of saying, "This is my final offer," you can say, "Let's find a way that works for both of us." This opens the door. It changes the tone. It turns negotiation into collaboration. Let's go deeper. Collaboration is stronger than competition. When both sides work together, they look for solutions. They think creatively. They solve problems. But when both sides compete, they defend. They argue. They close themselves. So your goal is simple. Shift the conversation from conflict to cooperation. Another powerful idea. Give small wins. People like to feel they are gaining something. Even small things matter. When the other person feels they are winning, they become more open. They become more positive. And that makes the negotiation smoother. Also, understand this. Respect is more valuable than agreement. Even if you don't agree on everything, if you show respect, you keep the relationship strong. And strong relationships create future opportunities. Let's go deeper. Win-win does not mean equal, it means fair. Both sides feel good. Both sides feel valued. Both sides feel respected. That is enough. Another key point. Think long-term. One deal is not everything. Relationships matter more. If you win today but lose trust, you lose future opportunities. But if you create trust, you build long-term success. Let me give you a powerful line to remember. The best negotiation is not about winning more. It is about making both sides feel they won. So, from today, don't try to defeat the other person. Don't focus only on your gain. Don't create pressure. Look for balance. Look for mutual benefit. Look for solutions, because when both sides win, the result becomes stronger, and the relationship becomes valuable. Lesson 5. Control the frame. The fifth rule of negotiation is control the frame. This is an advanced skill, and once you understand it, your level will completely change. Let's start with a simple idea. Every conversation has a frame. A frame is the way the situation is seen. It is the perspective. It decides who has control and how decisions are made. Most people don't notice this. They just react. They follow the other person's direction, and without realizing it, they lose control. But strong negotiators do something different. They create the frame. Let's go deeper. Imagine this. You walk into a negotiation. The other person starts strong. They speak fast. They set conditions. They try to dominate. If you accept their frame, you are already at a disadvantage, because they are leading and you are following. But imagine the opposite. You stay calm. You don't rush. You take your time. You respond with clarity. What happens? The energy shifts. The control shifts. Because frame is not about words. It is about presence. Your behavior sets the tone. Let's go deeper. The person who is less desperate has more power. If you look needy, if you look like you must win, you lose strength. But if you show calm confidence, you gain respect. Think about this. When you are not afraid to walk away, your position becomes strong, because the other person feels they can't control you. That is powerful. Another important idea: never react to pressure. Sometimes people use pressure tactics. They rush you. They give deadlines. They push for quick decisions. If you react quickly, you lose control. But if you slow down, you break their frame. You take back control. Simple actions matter. Pause before answering. Take your time. Ask questions instead of reacting. These small things change the balance. Let's go deeper. Language also creates frame. The way you speak matters. Instead of saying, "I hope this works," you say, "This is how I see it." That shows confidence. That shows clarity. And people respect that. Also understand this. Silence is part of control. You don't need to fill every gap. You don't need to talk continuously. When you are comfortable with silence, you show strength. And many times, the other person will speak more, revealing more information. Another powerful idea: do not accept every statement. If something feels wrong, challenge it calmly. Not with anger, but with clarity. For example, that's one way to look at it, but here's another perspective. This shifts the frame. It shows you are not controlled. It shows you are thinking independently. Let's go deeper. Control of frame also means control of focus. If the conversation moves in a direction that is not helpful, you bring it back. You guide it. You keep it aligned with your goal. Strong negotiators don't get distracted. They stay focused. Another key point: confidence is silent. You don't need to prove it loudly. You don't need to dominate. Your calm behavior, your clear thinking, your steady tone, these things create authority. Let me give you a powerful line to remember. The one who controls the frame controls the direction of the negotiation. So, from today, don't follow blindly. Don't react to pressure. Don't lose control of the conversation. Stay calm, stay aware, set the tone, because when you control the frame, you don't chase the outcome, you shape it. Lesson 6. Know when to walk away. The 6th rule of negotiation is, know when to walk away. This is one of the most powerful skills, and also one of the hardest. Because walking away requires courage, it requires self-respect, and it requires clarity. Let's go deeper. Most people are afraid to walk away. They think, if I leave, I lose. If I say no, I miss the chance. If I don't agree, everything is over. So what do? They accept bad deals. They agree to unfair terms. They stay in situations that don't benefit them. And slowly, they lose their value. Now imagine this. You stay in a negotiation at any cost. You keep adjusting. You keep compromising. You keep lowering your standards. What happens? The other person feels it. They see your desperation. And when they see that, they push more. Now your position becomes weak. Now imagine the opposite. You are ready to walk away. You are calm. You are not desperate. You know your value. What happens? The entire energy changes because the other person realizes they cannot control you. That is power. Let's go even deeper. Walking away does not mean losing. It means protecting your value. It means saying, I respect myself enough to say no. And that changes everything, because people respect those who respect themselves. Think about this. If you accept everything, people take you for granted. But if you have standards, people take you seriously. Another important idea. You must know your limits. Before entering any negotiation, you should be clear. What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? If you don't define this, you will get confused. And confusion leads to weak decisions. Clarity creates strength. Let's go deeper. Walking away creates leverage. When you are willing to leave, you are no longer dependent. And when you are not dependent, you become powerful. Because the other person feels they might lose you. And that often makes them reconsider. Sometimes, the best way to win is to be ready to lose the deal. That mindset changes everything. Another powerful point. Not every opportunity is right for you. Just because something is available does not mean it is valuable. If it doesn't match your goals, if it doesn't respect your worth, it is better to leave. Because saying no to the wrong thing creates space for the right thing. Let's go deeper. Emotions can stop you from walking away. Fear of missing out, fear of losing, fear of regret. But strong negotiators think differently. They don't act from fear. They act from clarity. They ask, is this truly right for me? If the answer is no, they walk away. Another important idea, walking away builds confidence. Every time you choose self-respect over pressure, you become stronger. You trust yourself more. And that confidence reflects in your next negotiation. Also remember, sometimes walking away is temporary. You don't have to close the door completely. You can step back, give space, and come back later with a stronger position. That is strategy. Let me give you a powerful line to remember. The moment you are ready to walk away, you gain real power in negotiation. So from today, don't accept everything. Don't lower your standards. Don't stay out of fear. Know your value. Set your limits. Be ready to walk away. Because when you are not afraid to leave, you negotiate with strength, clarity, and respect. Lesson 7. Close the deal smartly. The final rule of negotiation is close the deal smartly. Because starting a negotiation is important, but finishing it the right way is what creates real results. Let's go deeper. Many people do everything right. They communicate well. They understand the other person. They build trust. But at the final moment, they lose. Why? Because they don't know how to close. They hesitate. They become unsure. They wait too long. And sometimes, they lose the opportunity completely. Closing is not about pressure. It is about clarity. It is about confidence. And it is about timing. Imagine this. You've discussed everything. Both sides understand each other, but no one moves forward. What happens? The deal stays incomplete. This is where you step in. A strong negotiator knows when to close. You don't rush, but you also don't delay. You recognize the moment. That moment is when the other person is comfortable. Their doubts are reduced. The conversation feels positive. That is your signal. At that point, you move forward clearly. You say something simple like, "Let's move ahead with this." Or, "I think this works well for both of us." Confidence matters here. If you sound unsure, the other person becomes unsure. But if you speak clearly, they feel confident too. Let's go deeper. A smart close removes confusion. You summarize the agreement. You make everything clear. No hidden points, no misunderstandings, because confusion can destroy a deal later. Clarity builds trust. Another powerful idea. Give the other person a sense of control. Instead of forcing, you guide. For example, would you like to start this from this week or next? This keeps them involved. It makes the decision feel easy. Let's go deeper. Silence plays a role here too. After you propose the final step, pause. Do not rush to speak. Let them think. Let them respond. This creates space and often leads to agreement. Also understand this. Energy at the end matters. If you become desperate, you lose power. If you stay calm, you maintain control. Strong negotiators finish with the same calm energy with which they started. Another important point, always leave a positive impression, even after the deal is done. Be respectful, be professional, be clear. Because negotiation is not just about one deal. It is about relationships. A good close creates future opportunities. Let's go deeper. Sometimes the deal may not close immediately. That is okay. Do not push too hard. Give space. Follow up with clarity. Patience is also part of closing. Also remember, closing is not about winning at the last moment. It is about confirming what both sides already agreed. It should feel natural. It should feel smooth. It should feel right. Let me give you a powerful line to remember. A strong close is not forced. It is earned through trust, clarity, and timing. So from today, don't hesitate at the end. Don't rush without thinking. Don't leave things unclear. Recognize the moment. Speak with confidence. Create clarity. Because when you close the deal smartly, you don't just finish the negotiation. You secure the result. Negotiation is not just a skill for business. It is a life skill. Every day, you are negotiating your time, your value, your decisions, and your future. The difference between people who get what they want and those who don't is not luck. It is clarity, it is confidence, and it is communication. If you learn how to understand people, if you learn how to stay calm, if you learn how to guide conversations, you don't need to force anything. You naturally get better results. So from today, don't argue, don't rush, don't react emotionally, listen more, think clearly, speak with purpose. Because when you master negotiation, you don't just win deals, you win in life. If you learned something valuable from this video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because we bring you simple and powerful ideas to improve your life every day. And always remember, the person who understands people controls outcomes. I will see you in the next video.